Welcome to the Occult Rejects. This episode, we got a returning guest, somebody that I was extremely excited to see text me with a topic for the show, because I always enjoy when she comes on, and it's always a good topic, and it always comes with slides. You can't complain about that. So we got Megan back on with us. Before we introduce her, we're going to introduce the other two rejects joining me. We got the Occult Reject mad scientist herself, Lisa. What is going on, Lisa? How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on. And I'm very excited to discuss the topic that Megan's got. It's very, very interesting. So thank you for having me on.
Of course. No. I'm very excited for you to be here, and I know this was something you were interested in. So thank you for joining us. And we got Jin the Ninja. Friday Jin. What is going on, Friday?
Hey boss, what's up? So you can follow me on Twitter at Wukong Reborn, WUKONG Reborn, at Threshold Saints for both IG and Twitter or X. And of course, you can follow the Grey Lodge, thetruegraylodge.com, which is TRVE, thetruegraylodge.com. You can listen to all of our back catalog as well as on our YouTube. So all the new episodes were a couple weeks behind, but it's happening slowly, but it's surely happening. And so shout out to the boys at the Grey Lodge, and which is not just me. And also I've got tons coming out for Threshold Saints as well. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be on with Megan. She was one of my first people that I actually sat down with for Threshold Saints, one of my most popular episodes on the Lesser Keys of Solomon. So it was an awesome episode, and Megan was a great person to work with. I worked with her many times, and I think she's just a lovely person as well as a great magician. So I'm really excited to be on. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. I appreciate that. Hi, everyone. I'm Megan. If the new guys that haven't seen me yet, so I used to be on the show back in the day. I took kind of a 6-month hiatus. And I had to, figure some things out. And so I kind of went MIA for a while. During that time, I had a lot of downloads happen. I had a lot of studying going on. I switched some things up and went down a lot of different rabbit holes, which leads to what I'm going to be talking about today. So for those of you who don't know me, so I'm a high magician. I hate labels, but I practice ceremonial magic. I'm a mentor. I'm a professional tarot reader, paranormal investigator, all of those things. I'm going to give Nick all of my links. So if you guys want to book any sessions with me, I specialize in mentoring people that are starting out on their spiritual path, and even more advanced. I also do different types of events, paranormal investigating, ghost tours, like things like that in my local area. And I have tons of other stuff like dream interpretation. I teach telepathy now. Psychic abilities, increasing your psychic abilities. You can go and look at my page and see everything that I offer. I also have a YouTube channel. So I used to have 7 Degrees of Wisdom. I've changed my name. It's the Seal and Sigil now, but my YouTube channel is at the Room of Requirement. So you guys can find me there. I would really appreciate it if you would go and sub, check out the channel. I've got all new stuff on there. I basically just revamped all of my old stuff and hit it from a different angle. So, but I'm really excited to be here and excited to share what I'm going to present today.
Awesome. Hell yeah. And I just added those. I forgot the email that you sent me with your links. I just added them in there now, so they're on YouTube. So
Cool.
people go hit that YouTube button after the show or during the show, whatever, and go hit that subscribe button. All right. So you do want me to pull up the slides now? Do you want to talk first?
Sure. Let's just go ahead and get started because there's a backstory that leads into all of this. So.
Awesome. Yeah, so we were told this is like a rabbit hole we're going to go down here. So
Yeah, this is, some people are going to be ready to hear this, some people aren't. So
fasten your seatbelts and light one.
Okay. All right. So basically this backstory. So I'm just going to read it, okay, because I do better with notes because I have this forgetful mind. So basically, I took Darius J. Wright's training. So what Darius J. Wright does, he's a prolific out-of-body experiencer. And he offers a course that I took, and it has like over 100 hours of videos. Basically, he teaches you to have controlled out-of-body experiences. I've been having out-of-body experiences since I was about 7 years old, spontaneously. So I learned a ton of information from him. A lot of the stuff that I didn't know exactly what was happening, I found out through his training. So in his training, he talks about the construct and the creation of this construct. And what I mean by construct, okay, so he says that it's basically built up of 13 realms, okay? So the 13 realms, and then so he has actually mapped them all out. So he's been having out-of-body experiences since he was like 16. I think he's in his early 30s now. And so he's been doing this a lot. And so he started to map out all of the different constructs. So Earth is realm 1, and then it goes all the way up to 12, and then 13 is the actual firmament itself, okay? So as I was taking this training, I started noticing, I was like, hey, a lot of the stuff that he's talking about is what I've been studying my whole life, because I have over 25 years of occult and esoteric study and practice under my belt. And I'm like thinking to myself, wait a minute, there are tons of connections here. So I went down a rabbit hole for like 4 months trying to validate what he was talking about and everything. And I started making connections, okay? So, so let me see. So source, he calls it the void. So this would be God, right? So this is outside, just outside of the firmament. And the inside of the firmament is the constellations, okay? So it's not on the outside, there's no space. What's outside the firmament is other constructs, okay? And so I have a visual that I found. I have several visuals that kind of show this, and this will make more sense as I go along. Okay, so he stated that in the 11th realm, there were 13 beings. So he named each realm and what goes on in each realm. I won't totally get into that, but basically when he got to the 11th realm, which he just now figured out what it was, because he has to go to them several times before he figures out exactly. He doesn't want to tell everybody what they are until he knows for sure what they are. If you guys don't know who this guy is, you can look him up on YouTube. He has tons of testimonials from his students, and I believed him because I've been out of my body so many times and had so many experiences with this. I was like, this guy is talking truth. Like he's for real, because I've experienced it myself. So he said that in the 11th realm, there are 13 beings that created this construct. They reside on the 11th realm. So there's no other beings there, just these 13 beings. And all are the embodiment of all of the signs of the zodiac. Okay, so each one of them have the essences of each zodiac sign. Ophiuchus is the 13th zodiac sign, and it created the firmament, okay, which is the container of all the 12 realms, okay? And so, like a little side note, Jesus is said to be the son of the 13th being, and he came here to show us how to get out of this trap. So basically, that is the context of the story, okay? Okay, so I created this. This is what he showed, like on his training video, but I recreated it. So this is basically what he said is going on in the 11th realm. Okay, it looks like this, all the beings. Okay, so we have 12 strand. Huh?
Is that like the idea of the secret chiefs? You've heard of that before? Have you heard of that, Jim? Lisa, have you heard of that?
I mean, I've heard that term, but I don't know a whole lot about it.
Yeah,
okay, that's Crowley stuff, right?
Yeah, that like Golden Dawn too. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. So we're supposed to have. So we have 12 strand DNA, but we're supposed to have 13. Okay. There's 12 months in a year, but we're supposed to have 13 if we had 28-day cycles. There's 12 zodiac signs. There's supposed to be 13. 12 apostles plus Jesus is 13. Jesus is the lost bloodline. So the 13 beings created this construct based on the zodiac. So what I'm getting here is I'm proving that this world that we're living in, this construct that we're living in, it's all tied to the zodiac. And we're all created as above, so below, as within, so without, okay? So these are all of the ancient versions of the construct. Okay, in the middle here you'll see NASA, which is, a ball, a sphere. But if you look at all of these different constructs from all of these ancient cultures, it's backing up what he's saying. Okay, so we have a flat plane, water's above, water's below, 4 corners, Polaris, then we have the South Pole, and he gets into all kinds of stuff about the nature of reality that I'm not even going to begin to explain because it'll take too long. But Anyway, so we have all these representations of our construct, okay, from all over the world, right? So we've got the Greek, the Navajo, the Babylonian, Japanese, Persian, Viking, Indian, Mayan, Incan, Hebrew, Australian. I mean, look at them. They're all firmament.
Australian.
They're all they're all
Very
water below. Islamic, even the Masonic. We have the Masonic one here. It explains it too. Even the Egyptian one's interesting. So I just kind of let everybody kind of take a look at that. You can Google this image, by the way, if you want to get a closer look at all of this. Okay. So also, the other thing is our construct is built on a toroidal field, okay? Because our bodies are a toroidal field. Our heart creates a toroidal field. So we have the toroidal field going around. He said that the sun and the moon actually keep them in balance, okay? So that's what kind of like, it doesn't really like power this construct, but it keeps it balanced in polarity. Okay, so here's another version. I think this one is Hindu. Okay, so this is the 13 realms. And he says the middle, which is the 6th realm, he calls it Middle Earth. And it is basically a way station between the upper realms and the lower realms. Okay, and this is depicted here. And you see on the top, he's got the firmament. And then if you look up at the corners, it says other universes. So those are the other constructs on the outside, just like he describes. Okay. All of these realms. It has the waters above, waters below, and the firmament. Pretty interesting, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Same here. Water above, water below. So he was actually talking about how he went under the ocean and that he's seen running water under the ocean as well. Like under our ocean. Like rivers.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So then we have some more depictions here. You know, all this art. That's what this is. This is like you're getting outside the firmament. All this stuff here on the left, those are all the different realms. Okay. Here's another depiction. This is Greek. So we have the heaven of heavens, ocean of heaven, the firmament with the stars. They got the stars, the firmament. So the firmament actually moves itself. Okay, that's what makes the sky go around. Okay, nothing actually is like, and the planets are within it. So the planets are actually Stargate portals, okay, to other dimensions. And so are the constellations. Okay, so then I thought, okay, well, let me find some science to back this up. Because I was like, I have to see if there's any science behind this. So this is Heim's 12 dimensions. Okay, so this is actually quantum physics, right? So, this paper recontextualizes Burkhead's Heim's theory of 12 dimensions within the framework of extant literature on energy, dimensions, reality, and consciousness, providing a comprehensive synthesis that aligns Heim's dimensional theory with contemporary scientific and philosophical thought. Critically analyzing Heim's multidimensional theory presents a unique opportunity to explore the multi-layered fabric of reality, encompassing the micro to the macrocosmic scales. And this paper explains how Heim's dimensions can be integrated with modern insights into space-time's nature, energy, dynamics, and consciousness phenomena. In reinterpreting Heim's theory against modern scientific and philosophical discourse backdrop, this paper synthesizes Heim's dimensional framework with existing energy, reality, and consciousness paradigms. So I read the entire paper, but I just clipped some stuff from it. This integrative approach enriches our understanding of Heim's contributions and advances the dialogue between the multidimensional theory and current research in quantum physics, energy, and consciousness studies. So I remember a few years back hearing scientists say, oh, well, there's 11, or there's like 9, 10, and then it was 11, and then I've heard 12, and now I've even heard, I was doing some research, even heard like 37. Okay, so these could probably be like parallel dimensions, but I found this pretty interesting. Okay, so in the quest to understand the fabric of reality, The work of Burkhead-Heim stands as a monumental attempt to bridge the gap between the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown. His theory of the 12 dimensions proposes a framework that transcends the conventional four-dimensional continuum of space-time, inviting us into realms of speculative physics where the line between science and philosophy blurs. So the purpose of this paper is to reinterpret Heim's theoretical contributions. New Worldview of Physics were called Burkhard Heim and Auerbach and Ludwigers in 1992. So Heim's theory of elementary particle, of situating them within the modern discourse surrounding the concepts of energy, reality, and consciousness. So this next one, this is his drawing of it.
Oh.
Explaining how we can have these 12 different dimensions or 12 realms. Okay. Darius calls them 12 heavens. So at once everything was here in realm 1. And then we had the Great Flood. And then we had the Great War, the big reset. And then all the beings left and split. Okay. So this all makes sense. So I just wanted to show like there's actual science behind this too.
Lisa, have you mentioned this to me before?
Yeah. Everything that Megan had just said. I was looking at the two pyramidal type structures with a flat plane. And I'll answer your question just real quick, Nick. I've been told several times that they believe that the universe is like two saddles on top of each other, or two U's on top of each other, to where the point of the U's or the point of the saddles meet, and then they go in opposite directions. So what you pointed out with the I don't know what you call them, pyramidal type geometric structure with a flat plane, that agrees with exactly what I had heard in lectures, I don't know, maybe about 20 years ago. And yes, the different levels, I remember when they first said it was 11, and for a long time they kept saying it was 11. And I think here recently they said that the reason we thought it was 11 was because our dimensions only perceive 11, like in terms of I think cognition or something like that, but that if we were able to see more, such as like if we were able to see more of the spectrum, if we were able to understand more, perceive more, we would see more dimensions. And there has been the whole talk of the 13, hence why the whole Mesoamerica thing comes into play, because they had a belief that there was 13 heavens or 13 layers or 13 realms within the context of their belief system. And they really didn't believe like in a heaven, a hell. They just believed in different levels.
Yep. Okay. So for centuries, the pursuit of understanding the nature of reality, the fabric of space-time, and the essence of consciousness have intrigued philosophers and scientists alike. The advent of quantum physics and advances in the study of consciousness have expanded the horizons of this quest, revealing complexities that stretch far beyond the four-dimensional space-time continuum commonly experienced in everyday life. One theoretical contribution that stands out in its ambition to chart the unexplored territories of reality in Burkhead-Heim's theory of 12 dimensions. This pioneering yet underappreciated framework proposes a structure of reality that extends into dimensions beyond those validated by empirical observation, offering novel insights into the interaction between energy, matter, and consciousness. Physics has provided insights into the fundamental particles and forces that constitute the material aspects of our universe. While philosophy has grappled with the nature of reality and existence, the study of consciousness, once the sole province of philosophers and theologians, has become an important area of inquiry within neuroscience and psychology. With its bold postulation of higher dimensional spaces, Heim's multidimensional theory stands as a proposition that beckons us to reevaluate and potentially expand our current paradigms. Okay, so here are some, I pulled a couple of these are Hildegard von Bingen's art.
Nice.
So I think she was picking up on these dimensions as well. The one here on the far right is the Egyptian version. Okay.
Sorry, Megan, I just want to jump in really quick. I know
Yeah.
Nick did a great series on Hildegard, or a really long, like full range episode on all her work.
Yep.
But for me also, she's extremely interesting simply because I do think that she is sort of reintroducing Christian Kabbalah back into sort of like the more Rosicrucian ideas.
Yes,
Sure.
I totally agree. Love her. I remember doing a show. With me and it was me and Mario, I think, and Nick did a show on her too. And then you did one separately, but do you remember that one that we did, Nick, about her and her psychic visions? And I think she was coming out of body or going into higher realms and figuring those out. And I think a lot of her art, if you just sit and look through all of her art, because I remember we decoded it. To me, it's looking like she's mapping out these different realms, and with all the angels, because the eighth realm is the seraphim, and so that's what he says the eighth realm is a seraphim. So
Lisa,
I think
Did you do that with us too? Didn't you?
I did one with you guys, but I think you did one separately.
Maybe.
So you
Yeah, we covered Hildegard, and I think you covered Hildegard, and I covered I don't remember. I think it was one of the guys who was known for the golem, who made the first golem.
Oh yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. And then we had Mario on. I think we went over some of the artwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly, I think when she was younger, she used to get like these horrible headaches or these fevers,
Yes.
and I used to wonder if that's
She probably was coming out of her body.
yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yep, I was like, she was already having OBEs as a kid.
No,
I
it was
do
St.
wonder
Francis.
about that. Oh, sorry, Lisa.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to correct him before anything. It was St. Francis. Sorry, my bad. Because it was the two
No,
Christian
you're
six that we did. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, Jen.
Well, no, this is actually something that you'll know more about than I do, Lisa. But a lot of people who have experienced like chronic migraines, I'm not just talking about like the neck migraines, I'm talking about like full head behind the eye migraines. They will often talk about seeing auras. Why I know this is because I used to get them as a kid. So
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I just thought it was interesting that you said that, Megan. I never saw spirits or like Sephira, I don't think, as far as I know. But, you know, I mean, you do see things. I mean, it was more refractions of light kind of thing and sensitivity, but yeah.
Yeah, I think there definitely is a connection there from what I've seen, because I'm an intuitive and a channeler and all of that stuff too. So it's like that was another thing that, you know, when I was in my hiatus, I all of a sudden started spontaneously channeling too. So, you know, I totally get it. And there is a connection there. When we get in those types of states and experience extreme pain or extreme stress, which, you know, pain causes a lot of stress, you can tap into the higher dimensions. You can come out of your body. You can see your field of vision, that spectrum, that light spectrum expands, and you can see these things. But I think she was getting these downloads too. And I know for a fact she was channeling this stuff. I mean, all of the music, I mean, everything. I completely agree with that. Okay. So then it also ties into, so I'm just showing visuals, but then I'm going to tie all this together. Okay. So we have the Kabbalistic tree of life here, and we have 3 different versions. Okay. So I have one here that has the planets and the zodiac signs. Then I have one that has the major arcana associations. Okay. And this also ties into, and I'm going to get into this. So if we have 10 Sephiro, and then we have the Ein Sof, and the Ein Sof R, that's 13. Da'at in the middle would be 14. Okay. And I believe that the 14, the Da'at, is the knowledge or the key to transcend these 13 dimensions to achieve enlightenment. Okay. So I think this is what this is too, is a map on how to do it. Okay.
I definitely agree with this. I think it's a completely, like, I think the tree is a really good and fundamental map for the universe. Like, yes, I'm obviously Buddhist, so like when you showed the other diagrams, that's fine for me. Mm-hmm. But I think for other people, when they're approaching it, like the tree is just much simpler, but it's also not simple. It's it's very complex once you start to understand it. But at face value, it's learnable. It's like you can easily say, okay, this is a map. Now learn these names, learn these numbers, learn these colors, and then you've sort of done at least one density. So I think, I love the tree personally, and Nick knows this. And but I also think that what is really interesting about what you're saying is that Dath can also be the 5th density of the Sephira themselves. So it can be like the hidden, in the Parta system, like the hidden 5th layer. So I agree with you that it's interesting that it's 14. But also in the 13 is interesting because that sounds like they're talking about Hesed, which means that the universe would then be infinite. in expanse. Like it would be like I think we were talking about the 11. I think Lisa brought it up. Like I was thinking, okay, this is like what Nick always talks about, like the rod and the cones. So like Hesed would really be like the cone. It's like you're seeing further away. You're seeing like the potential, the possibility further away from you, and it's always constantly in motion. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I'm not that biological, but I hope I didn't butcher it, Lisa. I apologize.
No, that's perfect. I'm glad that you brought that up and tied that together too. But yeah, it was crazy because I just started seeing all these similarities and like tying this all together. And before all this happened, I kept seeing the number 13 everywhere. And I'm still like seeing it. And I'm like, wait a minute, like this is a sacred number in occultism. There has to be something to this. I mean, all these 13s everywhere, right?
The number 13 was absolutely sacred in Mesoamerica throughout all of the different belief systems from the river down to Patagonia.
Yeah. So then I started thinking, okay, well, numerology and tarot. So we have, if you break down 13, 1 plus 3 is 4. So that's foundation. So that could be the construct, right? And then in the tarot, you have death, which is the 13th major arcana, which represents death and rebirth and the cycle of reincarnation, right? So that it ties into that too. I could go way more in depth there, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, so the esoteric meaning of the number 13 in ancient cultures. So ancient poets associated the 13 vibrations with reincarnation, but it is also heavily linked with the solar system. The astronomical reference to 13 relates to the houses of the zodiac and either the sun or the moon, and the center, the sun being the male energy and the moon being female. Sun and moon are highly symbolic references that relate to the human psyche. So in relation to the esoteric meaning of the number 13, you'll find clues in Jesus and the 12 disciples. Romulus, one of the founding brothers of Rome, is followed by 12 shepherds. And in Greek mythology, Odysseus has 12 companions that are also 12 gods of Olympus and 12 labors of Hercules, each represent a sign of the zodiac. Note that there's always 12 of something around the central character, the 13th element. The 13th is you, the part of your conscious mind with which you make decisions. So you will also find 12 stars featured in the halos of the saints. The halos indicates the individual is enlightened. Consciousness is alive in the light of the consciousness of the mind. The Virgin Mary, the female principle associated with the moon, often appears with 12 stars around the top of her head. So the moon gets its light from the reflection of the sun, and the sun is a symbol of self-knowledge and the illuminated mind. The ancients devised the esoteric meaning for the number 13 because of the celestial motion of the sun and the moon. The moon travels an average of 13 degrees a day, and there are 13 weeks between the equinoxes and solstices. So the equinoxes and solstices, of course, signify the changing of the seasons, whereby the end or death, one of the seasons enters into a new season, a cycle of new beginnings. So interestingly enough, the 13th letter of the English alphabet is M, which in ancient Hebrew is spelt mem, meaning mother. In Egypt, the word for water is mu, the divine mother is associated with water, and the moon. So all life begins with water, right? Water's above, water's below. Okay, so here's some, we all know the zodiacal correspondences and planetary correspondences to the human body itself. So if these 13 beings created us in their image through this, right? So they say that when we incarnate, we pass through the constellation of our choice and take on its essence, and that gives us, so astrology is way deeper than just our personality traits. It's actually a wheel that we have to go through. I think it's actually the path of death and rebirth or reincarnation, or the wheel that we get trapped on. So we have to master these signs, and I think that's also connected. Okay, so here are some alchemical diagrams too that I think show the 13 realms and the construct and how it all works. Okay, so we've all seen these, right?
I wonder if Heinrich Roths was showing the same thing. You know that Lisa,
yeah,
that one that we showed with the, I can't remember. They had some that was circular.
Yeah, if you start digging like I did, I seen it everywhere. I couldn't not see it. It was like you can't unsee it once you kind of know what you're looking for, right? Okay, so I'm getting towards the end here. So The zodiac wheel is the cycle of reincarnation. The 13 realms or dimensions are the product of the 13 zodiac signs, which are the beings of creation. We are only one perspective at a time, lifetime after lifetime. This is the view, and it is the micro and the macrocosm, as above, so below, etc. We are meant to embody all of these zodiacal qualities of each sign to ascend now and through lifetimes to ascend. So I think that all of our lifetimes that we come back with reincarnation, we choose these different zodiacal signs, and if we don't master them, we have to keep coming back. I think this is part of the trap that everyone's talking about of being, the demiurge spitting us back out over and over and over again. So just like the concept of the 22 major arcana of the tarot, you must make the fool's journey to the end to achieve enlightenment. So this is the importance of the number 13 and why it's sacred in magical orders. We must alchemize ourselves to realize this. So most people only see it from one fractal, like one piece of the whole, and focus on that, like one area of study. But if you look at this as a whole, a cohesive whole of all the ancient teachings, it's all there. The same information, just fragments. It teaches coherence, a harmonization. This is the key to ascension and to learn how to anchor and integrate. This is also what the Kabbalistic tree of life is, a map of the 13 to find the path through and back up. This is the flaming sword. The 10th Sephiroth, then the Ein Sof R, 3, the 13th, the Hot is the 14th, which is the key. And that the numerology would be 1 + 4 = 5, so that's the 4 elements plus spirit. So I tied that in together as well. So how high magic and ceremonial magic pulls all this together. So purifying the soul and building the aura to make the ascent up the tree. The foundation of ritual magic is astrology, alchemy, angels, which are geometric codes as frequencies, and planetary energies. That's what we work with, right? So the goal of the great work is to transcend the zodiacal influences and escape the cycle of reincarnation. So that's what the great work is, right? So most people only focus on one subject or another, but if used and practiced as a cohesive whole, such as Jungian archetypes, tarot, alchemy, sacred geometry, energy manipulation and control, nervous system regulation, psychology, etc., this is when it all comes together. So all of the lost puzzle pieces fit. Frequency and harmonic tone open the doorways, and this is what the pyramids were actually built for. So this is all lost knowledge, and this is what seekers are looking for, and how it ties in all together. Okay, so that's what I have for you guys. I just want to know what you guys think about all that. I mean, that's what, to me, it's all one cohesive whole. I think as seekers, mystics, magicians, like we're all just, we tend to focus on one thing or another and then get lost in that for a while, master this, then master that. But I think if we look at it from one cohesive whole, and if this is true and we've got these 13 dimensions and we are all astrology, if we can combine all of these lost ancient teachings, I think that's what they were talking about. I think that's the missing key, is using these things all together to ascend. And I think once you understand the nature of our reality, the construct that we're in, and you know these things, and then you master these things, it all just shows you everything together. So that's pretty much what I got for you guys on that. What do you guys think?
I think the images that you were showing were really interesting in that Hymus stuff. It kind of still makes me think of like a black hole sense.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like I don't know how to explain it, but the whole death and rebirth and having like the one with all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. Somebody was even saying, fuck, I've lost it now. Oh, the 12 cranial nerves and then the pineal gland. I mean, that's still like the one in the 12.
Yeah, like this goes way deep. Like you guys know all this stuff. If you guys are watching a channel like this, like everything that we were talking about, all the stuff we talk about, like if you think about it, it's all tied in together. It's just what are we focusing on at the moment? But it all makes sense.
Yeah, there's even times that like Robbie Marx has even said that he thinks sometimes when it comes to occult symbology or even numerology that you have to include like yourself or the one in it. So like kind of pertains to that too as well.
Yeah.
Definitely got me interested.
Sorry,
No, go ahead.
No, there is. You're totally right, though, Nick. And Robbie's right too. Is that it's always +1. That's always the witness. That's how it always works in Buddhism, at least.
Yeah. And for Jehovah's, there's always a witness.
Yep.
Stupid.
No, it's not. And they knock on our doors a lot around here in the South.
Oh, do
I'll just
they?
tell you that. Oh my God, I've scared the crap out of quite a few of them.
I've gotten hit with Mormons a lot in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yo, one time I shit you not, it happened while I was live. It came, and like I thought I was getting a package or something. So like I even like paused me, you know, I just turned off the camera and like literally went to the door and like I'm like looking through the keyhole and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is the odds of me covering Mormons right now on the podcast? And I got 3 fucking teenage kids outside want to talk to me about Mormonism.
Yeah.
And I legit even said, like, I'm doing a podcast right now. I really can't. Like, I even like showed like the whole thing from my door. I was like, I really don't have the time for this. I was like, I thought I was getting a package. That's the only reason why I answered the door, dude. Oh no, it wasn't even a package. I thought the people were coming here to fix something in the apartment. And he's like, oh, well, come on. We can come on the show. And I'm just like, yeah, that'd be really.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and then I thought about it. I was like, how funny that would have been though if I would have pulled that off the right way. You know, just like real quick. Oh, look. Who happened to stop by right now?
Have him come in, give him a mic.
I was like, and like the kid I'm podcasting with, he'll probably like think they're actually my friends, and they'll start telling everybody that I'm on the Mormon podcast. And now, so it's like too much things to worry about. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, it just seems too weird. Like all of a sudden, Mormons here as I'm talking about them.
But
yeah, I don't know how I got off on.
Yeah, I could have went deeper into this, guys. I was thinking that, you know, it was going to be too much, but do your own research. I mean, you guys look into this. You will see it everywhere. It's in all the ancient texts, the manuscripts, the codices, everything. Everything. It's even in the Bible, right? You know, the Great Flood, the firmament, how, you know, God created light, and then he created these beings, and these beings created the constructs. So there's like millions and millions of constructs outside of our own. It's not just like empty space. You know, it's just something interesting to kind of think about. Things are never really what they seem, you know.
Do you now? What would you think? Like, kind of like so much like with the 13th zodiac actually would like I guess I wanted to explain it kind of like how you look at zodiacs now, how we explain like.
Yeah. So I remember I was going to mention this too. I did a show with Mario probably a couple of years ago, and we talked about the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac, and we talked about Ophiuchus. And back then I said, and I was kind of going out on a limb, and I said, I think Ophiuchus is like a way station. I think that it's like a place that you go before you reincarnate again. And that was like in the back of my head as I was like learning all this stuff too. And there's I have a little bit of notes here that I forgot I was going to read. So the 12 realms reflect the full circle of the embodied polarity. The 13th realm, firmament, Ophiuchus, is not beyond, but is the binding resonance that unites them into one toroidal field. This is why some traditions kept Ophiuchus hidden, because it represents the key to coherence, the serpent wisdom that stabilizes the cycle. So that was some stuff that I channeled. So, I mean, that's what I think. I just thought that was really interesting that, you know, Ophiuchus is the firmament itself. And then he said realm 12 is the council. So that is like, you know, the council that decides what goes on in all of the different realms. Maybe I could do a show sometime talking about all the different realms and everything. So when I was taking his training, I actually had a spontaneous out-of-body experience, and he teaches you several different methods of coming out of your body. And he talks about this publicly, so I'm not like, you know, blasting him. So you basically, you've got to be still for like 90 minutes. We have four to 5 sleep cycles that we go through every night. And we go into sleep paralysis. We're just not conscious of it. We actually come out in our own personal dimensional space. And now this ties everything together for me, because it would happen to me constantly. We all have our own personal dimensional space. Okay. Once we get out of that personal dimensional space, then you can travel through these different realms that he's talking about, but you have to command to go there. You have to become completely conscious of you being out of body, and then you can command to go to the different realms. I had one spontaneously. I wasn't trying. I realized what was going on. I commanded to see my soul records, and I was taken there. And then I got excited and got sucked right back in, and then I popped into a lucid dream, and then I woke up. So any kind of excitement, if you stay too close to your body, you'll get sucked right back in, because the magnetic pull to your heart, the field, will suck your soul right back in. So you have to get, if you find yourself in sleep paralysis, stay calm, pull yourself out, and get as far away from your body as possible. Then command where you want to go, who you want to see, who you want to talk to, all these different types of things.
I will say, when I go wherever, whatever's going on inside of myself, it does feel like a vacuum, like literally just like sucks your soul like right the fuck out of the top of your head.
Yeah, that's what you're feeling is the pull. Yep, you're feeling the pull, and then like usually when you're asleep and all of a sudden you jerk, that's you coming back in. That's you actually slamming back into your body.
Yeah, did you ever like as you're like slowly starting to fall asleep, like people, even people in the chat on the show, like you have that feeling of like you're starting to slip off into a dream, or like you're starting to like fall asleep, or even like when I've been sick and you're almost like kind of starting to go out. Mm-hmm. It's almost this feeling or this pull, but it feels like that really intensely, and it ends up going somewhere further than falling.
Yeah, yeah. If you can become conscious, even in a lucid dream, you can command to go to these realms. You just have to state where you want to go, state what you want to do, and with practice, you can do this. So I've been practicing for months now, and it's like I get myself in sleep paralysis on purpose, so that I can have control, come out, and then go where I want to go, and it's absolutely fascinating. I mean, so all of these things, it's like, and what I didn't understand is all the negative experiences that I had when I would come out of my body uncontrolled, when I would see like the darker type things. What those are your fears manifested. And a lot of people think that they're actually like entities, but they're actually things that you create with your own fears. So it's like your psyche trying to work out these things. A lot of the things that you do see in your own personal dimensional space when you're dreaming and you come out of your body is creations that you've created yourself, and they're your own fears. And it scares the crap out of a lot of people. It did me for years and years and years. And when I took his training, I was like, oh my God, now I know what all that was. It makes total sense to me now. Because, at the time when I was going through that, a lot of high stress, a lot of stuff was going on in my life. And so you will start to have a lot of sleep paralysis if you're highly stressed, going through a lot of grief, all that stuff. But all that stuff, you're actually creating it. And then you can even have shared dreams with people. Like, say you sleep next to someone or you sleep with someone in the same house, your personal dimensional spaces will crisscross. And then you will start to have their personal dimensional space show up in your dreams. And then you come out of your body, you can actually see time-space potentialities. Like if you come out and you see things that are stretched, you are accessing time-space and time-space potentialities. So I thought that's pretty interesting. So what do you think about all of this, Jen?
I think it's all real. I mean, that's been my experience. I mean, that's what Nick and I always talk about. Like every time I come on, like I think there are different cosmologies and different kinds of ways to understand how to get there, and like the methodology in which you use to do that, or even understand the experience itself. But I think that from my opinion, most of the are similar, and we might have different ways that we describe it, but it's much more similar than it is not. And even the discrepancies with numbers, like you can see this with all the different systems. You can see they played with base 9. There's so much base 9 everywhere. And then there's, base 11, and you see base 10, and you see base 13 very frequently. Sometimes you see base 17. So you can see that they're all playing with these different kinds of models of the universe to try and describe all the things that they're seeing in magical experiences. And so I agree with Nick that it all comes back down to like those experiences, rather than it being quote unquote magic in and of itself. I think it's much more relating things that we should be seeing or experiences we're trying to have, rather than saying like, oh, externalize it. Like you were saying with the feelings, that totally makes sense to me in a tantric way. You have to cut. We call it chud in Tibetan. It's like the cutting practice. You cut all the karmic sort of implications of before. You let everyone go. That doesn't mean you don't love people. That doesn't mean you don't have a family or anything like that. It just means for that moment, you just let it go. And it's hard. And you have to do it. But if you don't do it, like you said, Megan, you get pulled back in. So I knew exactly what you're talking about. It makes total sense to me. It's just a different way to describe it.
Yep. Yep. There was a question that just popped up before that. Can you read that, Nick, and I'll answer that? Would you feel something sinister if the thought of being sinister or not was in your brain already? Okay, so you got to think about what's in your subconscious mind. Everything that gets repressed in your subconscious mind, all of your fears, your emotions, your trauma gets dumped in your subconscious mind. When you dream, these things come out in your personal dimensional space. And you're actually creating these beings. Now, if you're focused on it, yeah, it will come out that way. But a lot of times we're unconscious of all of these things that will come out that we do see. And you could even see them with your waking eyes. I've even seen things like this in my waking time, that I've created myself, that I've pushed out in my own dimensional space while I'm awake. So basically, most of the things that are sinister that you see, they are a mirror. They are showing you an aspect of yourself that you need to work on. Okay? So even if it's in your brain or it's not in your brain, I mean, there are attachments, there are things, entities that do come in. I'm not saying they don't exist, but probably about 90% of the things that you see, you've created yourself through your own personal dimensional space. And I've seen them both ways, in sleep paralysis, in dreams, and with my waking eyes. I hope that answers your question.
I agree also. Sorry, Nick.
No, go ahead, Jen. Finish.
I just agree that it's mostly, most things are manifestations of consciousness, whether it's a waking consciousness or subconsciousness. So start with your own mind, number one. Yeah. You want to have these experiences? Yeah.
Yeah. So like thought forms, also egregores, your thought forms you create. Every time you think about something, you are actually creating a thought form in the etheric. So you're probably interacting with it, and you're interacting with other people's thought forms as well. So this goes into energy manipulation and the paranormal and all that stuff too. But yeah, absolutely. You're interacting with thought forms too. This is cool. Does anybody else have any questions about it? Because this is my realm.
Something I have thought about with the brain. I do think it's quite possible that that's where some of the demons really are in our brain.
Oh yeah.
I even wondered, like, like when they show like brain activity on people, and it's and then when they show different people's brain activity, I think that when different parts of the brain get lit up, you'll deal with different demons and different intelligences and different angels.
Absolutely. Depending on where your consciousness is and what you've got stored in your subconscious. Yeah, absolutely. It's becoming aware of these things. If dealing with these things will stop the negative experiences. So a lot of people just get so freaked out and they don't know where it's coming from. But if you start doing the work on yourself and expanding your awareness and working through the shadow work and the trauma and the fear, it will stop manifesting everywhere you look, especially in your sleep time, causing sleep paralysis, night terrors, sleepwalking, all the dark things that you see and feel. These things will start to dissipate. I can speak from personal experience. Right, I haven't had a bad experience in a couple of years because of all the work that I've been doing.
Lisa, is there anything that you
it's all super interesting. Yeah, no, it was all really, really good. I really enjoyed that presentation.
Oh, thank you. I feel bad it was a little bit short. I thought it was gonna go a little bit longer, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I just thought it was super interesting, something to chew on, something to look at, something to think about, something to go down. If you guys are interested about the nature of reality and how it ties into us as human beings, how we operate in this world, how we are astrology, like down to our bodies,
I will say I will look at those disc images way different now. My opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from that.
Yeah, I looked at them when I noticed it. I was like, oh my God, it's everywhere. It's totally everywhere. So, because I mean, you know, all the shows we've done previously before, you know, like on the Arbitel and the Picatrix and it's like you're looking at all these things and you're like, wait a minute, they're mapping this all out too. You just have to know how to see with the right eyes. You know, once you know this stuff, it's like, whoa, that makes sense, and you can't unsee it. So, and then this even ties into gematria. I mean, I could have went down a million different, you know, roads with this. But I was just kind of giving everybody like an introduction, kind of like a taste. So, but I hope you guys really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no. You got me sitting here thinking about like ringed images now, and I'm like, what else is like that? Can't think of so many of them that you probably just don't even realize.
Yeah. I hope I've sparked some consciousness to some people and to, you know. I
like the cone and the flat land thing right there. That makes a lot of sense to me with how I look at things coming in and out of existence. Sense.
Yeah, and we're interacting with it all the time. So the second realm is the interdimensional realm or the celestial realm. That's where all, you know, the ET races are. They're just right above ours. That's why we can see them popping in and out. They're just right there, realm 2.
That's where Iwas and Lamb is chilling.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Around he's got some friends up there too.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does.
All right. All right. Yeah, I guess we'll. Is there any questions in the chat that?
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Love answering questions.
I just want to shout out that Cassandra's in there from the lodge, from the Grey Lodge, and she did actually have an interesting point about sleeping with her cat and her cat appearing in dreams. This has actually happened to me, but it has depended on which cat it is. So I think maybe that there's an impetus. Some of the cat, like some cats, maybe are able to come with you.
Yeah, they come out of their body just like we do. Yes.
Oh,
yes. They actually will help us. They'll actually help us come out. Mm-hmm.
I think they get bored here. They're like, I'm going somewhere else. Fuck this.
Yeah.
Were they asking you for food in the other realm when they were with you?
No, I don't think so. But he was always getting in trouble. Like I always had to rescue him. That's how I felt in the dreams.
He was hinting to you that he wants more attention.
The guy looked down and there's my cat smacking its pole. Like, come on.
Cats, gotta love him, man.
Yeah. Well, I was like, I was in a dream and it kept knocking shit off the table and I was trying to catch it. All right, that's I guess that's enough. Thank you very much, Megan. Like I said,
you're welcome.
It definitely has me. I definitely want to start looking at these images next time I see them, like in a different angle from the way you were talking about it.
Yeah,
there's something up with that.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm so glad I got to hang out with you guys. Again, looking forward to more episodes.
No, for sure. Before we wrap it up, we'll have everybody plug that stuff again. Real quick, Lisa, what is going on? Thank you very much for coming on.
Again, that was a really great presentation. Lots of seeds, food for thought, for sure.
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I never thought of it all like that, so thank you for that. The only thing to plug is Solis Lisa at Twitter.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And Jin the Ninja, going on, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, of course, Nick. If you want to follow me, the best way is on Twitter at Wukong Reborn, WKONG Reborn, or Threshold Saints at Threshold Saints for both IG and X Twitter, and the True Grey Lodge, which is Matt Murrah, Solar Exile, Joshua the Branch, all of whom have been on the show. So thank you, Nick. I mean, I didn't get Joshua booked. Let me just be very clear about that. But I appreciate that you've always entertained like my crew. So
I was like, yo, I asked this kid to come on for Kabbalah. He like brought half his lodge. You know, it was fucking almost the whole thing. I was like, you do that on purpose? I was like, who's
really smart? They make me look smart because they're smart. That's the truth. So
yeah,
we ride together.
That's I know. Same thing I do. Yeah, the show. I get it. No, honestly, I think it's gotten this. It's made the series get better as we've gone along. So definitely look forward to doing another one of those with you guys as well. So thank you, Jim. Yeah, and let everybody know again, Megan, what's up? Where they
Okay.
can find all your new stuff too, please.
Yep. So I changed the name on my Instagram. So it used to be 7 Degrees of Wisdom. So now it's the seal and sigil _7. So it's still me. So you can follow me there on Instagram, and then on YouTube, the @ the Room of Requirement. If you don't put that @ before, you're going to get a bunch of Harry Potter stuff. There was no connection. I didn't mean to do that. But pretty much just when you search it, it's going to be @ the Room of Requirement. If you guys want to book any services with me, I do mentorship, 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hours, readings, all kinds of stuff. Just go check out my Calendly page and book a session with me if you guys are interested. And I would really, really, really appreciate it if you would sub to my YouTube channel. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. And all her links are in the bottom now, so go check that stuff out. Thank you all again. I appreciate you, Lisa, and I appreciate you, Jen, jumping on. And again, Megan, I appreciate you bringing the slideshow. That's what's up. Thank you, everybody who jumped in on the chat. That's what's up. So a lot of the same people. In about another hour, we'll be going live with Headless, too, for a sigil and mailbag. So check that out. And then again tonight, fucking crazy. 9 o'clock tonight, Robbie Marks, story time with Robbie Marks. So check it out if you're up to it. Again, thank you, Megan, and thank you, everybody in the chat and the other rejects.
Thanks, guys. Had fun.
And until the next one, everybody be well. Later.